What up, y'all? Richie here from the Weirdos Outside, and here I am again, not outside, making a little video, really to pose a question, but to hopefully fit the theme of the channel. I do have my camping stuff in the background here behind me. My well-organized rack of outdoor equipment. But anyway, I know some of y'all aren't going to be interested in some of this stuff, although I think a lot of you will, because my faith has been a part of my channel ever since it started. But if this isn't for you, that's fine. This is for those of you that are interested in these types of conversations. And maybe at some point, if I start doing enough of this, maybe I'll break this off into a different channel or something. But for now, this is what I got and where I'm gonna do these things and post these types of things. But I've been sitting here thinking pretty deeply on something that I'm hearing a lot come up in the debate between, say, like believers and non-believers. And it's a question that I'm going to be flat out honest, I think is a good question. I think it's a good question that people who believe should not be afraid to answer, dive into, or try to answer, or explore, or entertain. It shouldn't be brushed off. But the question is, and you'll see this a lot, you can Google it, and probably a million things will pop up. This seems to be like a lot of people, a lot of the non-believers are using this question in their debates. And the question is, can God create a rock so heavy that God himself is unable to lift it? I think people tend to not like that question. They tend to see it as kind of an attempt to set up a trap. I myself kind of see it as a trap type of question. But the only reason it's effective as a trap type of question is because it is a good question that should be answered. So I don't have the answer to this. Not on here because I think I have the answer to this. But I want to unpack it and try to understand it and find the best answer for it. Not that I have any intentions on going out and debating people or anything like that. I'm not. That's not me. But for my own good to understand. And as I sit here and think about this, I've been thinking about this for, like most things, I've been thinking about it for quite a while. I kind of feel like, and this is a question, this is not a statement, this is something I would like feedback on. So post in the comments what you think about this, please, because I just want to understand. I want to develop. I don't think God is a thing that we'll ever be able to conceptualize really in any way, but I don't think that means we cannot develop an understanding. You know, we might not ever be able to fully understand, but we can develop an understanding. So my thoughts around that question are, can God create a rock heavy enough that he himself cannot lift? I think the answer to that question might be yes. And the reason I say that is because even though it's not an apples to apples comparison, I mean, I know the question is framed around like a literal rock or an object, a physical, tangible object. My thoughts are, isn't that in essence what God did when he created free will? Because, and the reason I connect those two things is because when God created man and woman, and he created free will, and embedded that implicitly within us, that was God limiting his own power. So in my mind, the way I'm thinking about this isn't that, again, I know it's metaphorical, but metaphorically speaking, isn't that the same thing? Isn't that the same thing? Because what you're asking is can God create something that limits his own power? Can he create a rock so heavy that he himself cannot lift it? Therefore, he's so powerful that he was able to create something that exceeded his own power. It seems to me that the creation of free will is exactly that same thing. Maybe, well, obviously not in a literal, tangible, physical thing, but as a philosophical, or something that happens often when I turn this camera on and start talking about these things is it just shuts off automatically on me. I think there's something to that. Just going to put that out there. But anyway, philosophically speaking, metaphorically speaking, and in essence, isn't that the same thing? He's limiting God. God put limitations on his own power through the creation of goodwill. So I don't have any way to extend that out any further than that. That's just kind of where my thoughts are with it right now. So again, not posing that as an answer to the question. I mean, I will say that I think based on that pattern of logic, I think that means that the answer is yes, but I'm not posing it as the solid answer. I'm genuinely kind of putting this out there to anybody that is willing to click on this video and listen to it and kind of conduct that thought experiment in their own heads. What do you think? Does that make sense? Is that the answer? Is that something that brings the answer closer to a yes, or am I way off base? I don't know. But it really does seem that way. I mean, can God create I know this is redundant, I'm saying it again, but can God create a rock so heavy that God himself cannot lift it? The essential question being asked there is can God limit his own power? And is he so powerful that he can even limit his own power, that he has the power to even limit his own power? I feel like that's it. I feel like that is not, I'm trying to stop saying I feel like, but I am coming to believe that is likely the answer is yes. Yes, God can create a rock so heavy that God himself cannot lift it. God created good. I can't talk. God created free will, which limits God's own power. Yeah, this seems like the same thing to me. That seems like the same question, guys. So again, not to drag this out, just jumping on here real quick. If I could have fit this into a 1 minute short, maybe I still can't. Maybe I can. I'll do that. But I would really, really, really like some feedback on that. So guys, just jump in the comments down below and tell me what you think. Just a thought experiment in regard. I watch a lot of these debates and conversations and things because something that I try to do on a regular basis is challenge my own beliefs. So I love these opposing views and these questions that challenge things. I mean, that tends to make me stronger. It makes my beliefs a lot stronger, but not only that. I've found many times where I am not looking at something correctly, or I need to be moving in a different direction, or I don't have the full picture to really draw a conclusion or base my personal assessments on. So again, I think that's a great question. I think that whoever came up with that and started implementing that in their debates, it's brilliant. I think it's a really good question, and it definitely is one that is making me think. I've never actually thought of free will from the perspective of it being a limitation on God's power. I've never made that connection in my own head before. But because seeing that question asked so repeatedly, that's exactly where my head goes, and it gives me a whole different not a whole different, but it adds to my the understanding that I am able to develop of God and who God is, or at least it's helping me to develop that understanding. So yeah, post in the comments, tell me what you think. Outside of that, man, anybody who does stick around and watch these little videos like this, I appreciate it. I hope it challenges you in the way it challenges me, and that we all grow in our beliefs and evolve and develop together through challenging ourselves and asking ourselves these questions. And so yeah, but anyway, be weird out loud. Stay tuned for further outdoor adventures. Wintertime is coming. This is I think wintertime is when this channel will really thrive, because that's where we like to get out and really explore and have fun and do different things. So yeah, y'all stay tuned. Love y'all. Be weird out loud, and we'll catch you on the next one.